In this video, I go birding at one of the most underrated spots in Southern California. I find some incredible desert birds, including one of the most beautiful birds in North America. Come with me on this journey and let's see what birds we can find. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today we're at one of my all-time favorite places in Southern California, Mojave Narrows Regional Park. This place has some incredible birds and they just built a brand new feeder setup. So that's really incredible and I'm super excited to be here. I've already seen some amazing birds just by driving in. So come with me and let's see what birds we can find. Well, that was definitely cool. A red-tailed hawk. You just saw it fly out in front of me. Pretty cool species to see right off the bat here at Mojave Narrows Regional Park. Of course, it's one of the most common and widespread hawks in America. I'm also hoping to see a red-shouldered hawk here today. Driving in though, we did see my spark bird, but before that, a coyote was running across the field over here. We actually had one in my mother-in-law's backyard yesterday that looked in pretty rough shape, so we had to call animal control. They didn't get there in time, of course, but it looked like it had mange and was sick, and that's not good if it's wandering in the middle of the day through neighborhoods, but it seems like these coyotes are looking for food, obviously, so they're coming down here a lot closer to civilization. Right below the coyote was mountain bluebird, my spark bird, the bird that started it all for me. So far, great start here at Mojave Narrows Regional Park. We're gonna head down this dirt trail for a little while. We only have like 2 hours to bird, so I wanna do like an hour of birding. I also wanna cover the pond over here because there's a big pond that has some really cool ducks and stuff. And then let's go check out that feeder as well. As I made my way down the winding sandy path, a flash of blue caught my eye. A western bluebird. These beautiful blue and orange birds can be found throughout Southern California in a variety of different habitats. I reached water, the most valuable resource in the desert, and it was bursting with life. So I just spent a lot of time filming some gadwall, a pretty common duck species. Really beautiful though, subtly beautiful. It's got like a little silvery sheen, the males do. I filmed a female though in this shot. And then out pops the cinnamon teal, which for me that's pretty normal. And I assume it's also pretty normal for the high desert. Sometimes there's birds on eBird though that are listed as uncommon and also flagged as rare. So that was one of those birds. So I needed to get documentation. I spent a lot of time trying to get photos of it. Got some terrible photos, but we got documentation. So technically an R-stamped bird on the day. Nothing too crazy, but really cool. That's one of the fan favorite ducks. Beautiful cinnamon color on that duck. We're gonna continue walking down this trail. I did spend a lot of time trying to get those photos, unfortunately, so did waste a little bit of time. I actually heard a Virginia rail over here, which was cool as well. Not a bird that you see very often, but I heard it, so another bird on the list for the day. Let's see what else is out there. Up above me in a tree was a phainopepla. This one was a female, showing off its shiny silver plumage. One of Southern California's most abundant birds, the black phoebe, skirted above the water looking for easy insects to eat. Behind it skulked a song sparrow, peeking out from the spindly grass strands that stood up around it. Perched on a log was a yellow-rumped warbler, surveying the scene. I arrived at even more water, hoping to find some ducks. I was awarded with views of arguably the most common duck, mallards, and an American coot skimming across the surface of the water. A pied-billed grebe swam not far away from them, waiting to dive into the depths of the water for a meal. Well, that was a beautiful selection of birds. Wherever there's water in the desert, there's obviously a ton of awesome species, and we haven't really even scratched the surface on this place. Let's see what time it is. Almost 10, have to leave here about at 11. So we're gonna start heading back down this trail, and chances are we'll pick up something new along the way. Looking for a few things like vermilion flycatcher would be awesome. We did pick up the phainopepla, that's always a treat to see. And then obviously just some of these duck species. Ringneck ducks, haven't seen those in quite a long time. So cool to get those for our list for the day as well. But let's head back and see what other birds we can find out there. We got an hour left and I really want to spend the last 20, maybe 30 minutes hanging out at that new bird feeder setup that they have out here. So let's go check it out. Right behind me over here is a Nuttall's woodpecker. This is a southwestern woodpecker species. I really love woodpeckers. I think a lot of people do. They're really charismatic birds. They do a lot of cool things, like tapping their beaks against bark, just like this one was doing when I found it. Awesome to see that bird. This is a male as well. It has the red on the back of its head. So really happy to pick up that bird. We have a little bit ways to go to the feeder setup. Let's see what's out there. I continued to enjoy views of the Nuttall's woodpecker as it climbed through the golden leaves, obscuring it partially from my view. In the distance, turkey vultures soared through the air, riding the thermals. Back home, these birds are long gone by now, so it's fun to follow them south for one more goodbye. That was pretty cool. Our second woodpecker species of the day, a hairy woodpecker, and these are actually R-stamped as well. It's not entirely like rare or anything. This is the only spot that I know that you can find them consistently is Mojave Narrows, and it just hangs out here in this forest here, but so it's reported quite frequently, and I think it's listed as uncommon, but it does have the R stamp, so we got some good photos and good footage of that hairy woodpecker, which is always great to get when you find a rare bird. We're gonna hop in the car, we're gonna go check out the bird feeder setup first, and then if we have time, we're gonna see what's on the pond, because there's a lot more birds to see. We're just running out of time. Oh wow, this looks so good. This looks awesome. Obviously the shrubs and the cover that the birds are gonna need to feel comfortable coming to the feeders on a regular basis are gonna grow up from here, but this looks amazing. Wow, I wasn't expecting this, to be honest. This is so well done. All right, so far nothing has come down to the actual feeders, but there's a lot of cool birds hanging around, and it might be because I'm sitting here. They're probably not used to people being super close yet. They're definitely around, as you can hear. Maybe you can hear. The mic cuts out a lot of the bird sound. We also ended up seeing a white-breasted nuthatch, which is one of the coolest birds out there, to be honest. Really awesome bird as well. White-breasted nuthatch on the list. And then there's a couple other things hanging around, like a common raven here on the ground. So I'm gonna sit here for a little while and keep you updated. The common raven continued to click its beak at us as it fearlessly searched for food. Up on the tree, a Nuttall's woodpecker perched, waiting for its turn to take advantage of the suet feeder hanging from down below. I scanned the feeders for a while longer, enjoying my time in the shade. House finches were among the most abundant bird species visiting the feeder. An Anna's hummingbird hovered above the hummingbird feeder, drinking sugary water. The white-breasted nuthatch returned, taking chunks off the block of suet. Even the yellow-rumped warblers took advantage of the abundance of food available. I'm always surprised to see these birds visiting a feeder setup, but it's pretty common in Southern California. Both the house finches and the white-breasted nuthatches also fed vigorously from the platform feeder. House finches are definitely our most abundant feeder birds in the western United States. They really take advantage of seed at feeders and don't mind humans as much as other species. The lark sparrows also fed on the seed that had been scattered across the ground. Having multiple types of seed in different types of feeders, including the ground, is the best way to attract a variety of birds. I got 20 minutes left, and I do want to check out to see if there's anything interesting in the water over here. But I do want to say real quick, Friends of Mojave Narrows Regional Park, that's the organization who puts all this together. Y'all did an incredible job. Bill, I know you were a big part of that. Just so well done. And the birds are incredible. I found some lark sparrows to finish off sitting at the feeders. And honestly, I could sit at that feeder setup all day. I could sit there and just watch the nuthatches and the sparrows and the house finches come into the feeder for the entire day. So again, absolutely well done. Y'all nailed it. As I drove around the pond, I saw a red-winged blackbird perched near the top of a tree. I got incredibly close-up views of this northern mockingbird, a mimic bird that makes very unique sounds. A western meadowlark preened itself just off the side of the road. And more lark sparrows picked through the grassy ground looking for something to fill their bellies. Joining them this time were these brewer's blackbirds, a male and a female. One of the largest wingspan birds in North America, the American white pelican, cut through the water of the pond. They were joined by this double-crested cormorant, a bird often villainized due to its diet of fish, which often conflicts with fishermen. What's up everybody? Video is not over yet. I wanted to make this video a little bit longer and do some relaxed birding here in the high desert. There's birds I haven't seen before out here. So right now we're at a brand new spot. It's called the Interpretive Center because I believe there's some water out here, and wherever there's water in the desert, there's cool birds. So we're going to explore this a little bit, see what desert birds we can find out here, and then we're also gonna go back to Mojave Narrows, and my mother-in-law fills up the feeders every 5th Sunday or something like that. So we're gonna go with her in the morning, help fill up those feeders that you saw earlier in the video, and film some more birds. There's also a potential lifer at Mojave Narrows, yellow-bellied sapsucker. So let's see if we can find that bird as well. Stick with me, this is gonna be awesome. Deserts are underrated, as they are absolutely beautiful landscapes. I made my way around the loop, hoping to find some unique desert species. So I haven't seen any birds, full disclosure, but something really cool about this place is that back in the Pliocene era, the Ice Age, right? Mammoths and giant sloths and horses and camels and the short-faced bear used to roam this region here. And there was a big river, the Mojave River, where I just showed you how dry it is. Nowadays the river flows underneath the ground and it flows north to east, which is unique for rivers. Back in the day, it used to flow above ground, and all of this used to be covered in snow, obviously. And there's some incredible fossils to be found out here in the Mojave Desert. So pretty cool, even though there's not a lot of life here now, and it's more of a Badlands desert type situation. Back in the day, it used to be teeming with megafauna and life, which is so cool to think about. All right, to be honest, I only got American white pelicans on camera, and it looks like they were circling the area where we're heading to next, Hesperia Lake. So we're just gonna move on to the next spot and see what birds we can find there, and I'll keep you updated. Perched atop a Joshua tree was my spark bird, the mountain bluebird. I absolutely had to stop for this shot, as I rarely see these birds outside of the mountainous habitats back home. Continuing on our drive to the next location, we stopped for this male phainopepla, a member of the silky flycatcher family. They are stunning with iridescent plumage and bright red eyes and a crest. We arrived at Hesperia Lake, another oasis in the desert. Again, I got extremely close-up views of an American white pelican. Often joining the pelicans in the desert is the double-crested cormorant, most likely because both birds consume large amounts of fish. Flying around the edge of the tree-filled island on the water was a great egret. This bird was unexpected, and I was very excited to see it flying across the horizon. Hesperia Lake is kind of an oasis in the desert, so it attracts a lot of birds you wouldn't normally find in a desert situation, obviously. So there's plenty of American white pelicans here, as you've already seen. Just absolutely gorgeous birds, and they do come inland a lot more than they used to back in the past. And then we also got a great egret. I'm gonna come around the corner here and get it on camera as well. It was taking off and flying around, but I see where it's roosting, so we'll get some more footage of that great egret in a minute. Let's see if we can find any interesting duck species. So far, like no ducks at all on the water except for mallards, but sometimes there's some really cool stuff in the shallower ponds over here by the playground. So let's see if we can find any more cool birds. As I finished my walk around the lake, I found a pied-billed grebe mixed in amongst the other giant birds. I made my way to the shallow part of the pond where most of the ducks stood waiting. This is where I have found unique species in the past and hoped for one today. My wish was granted as I spotted this green-winged teal floating on top of the shimmering water. This was the perfect opportunity for photos, so I got down low and continued to film the stunning duck. The colors surrounding the duck were impressive, and it looked as if it was floating through a wonderland. If you'd like to check out the photos of the green-winged teal, make sure to follow me over on Instagram, where I will eventually edit and post them for you. Another unique duck species joined the hundreds of mallards. American widgeons stood on the grass and fed on the grain brought by humans that was left behind. Now, this bird can often be quite confusing. It's a female red-winged blackbird, but because it looks so radically different from the males, I see a lot of people struggling to ID this species. American coot ran by me during the feeding frenzy, showing off their weird alien-looking feet for all to see. I heard a familiar call up above me in the canopy, and when I looked up, I once again saw a phainopepla looking down at me. As we finished our walk around the lake, I found a new county bird, a black-crowned night heron. These birds often tuck themselves deep in the foliage surrounding a body of water, so I was lucky to spot this one and add a brand new bird to the main county I go birding in Southern California. It's the final day of my California trip out here. That's really sad, but we're back at Mojave Narrows Regional Park. Now, I just want to say one thing. Mojave Narrows Regional Park is the most underrated birding hotspot in Southern California, partly because it's pretty far out in the high desert, so if you live down the hill, it's going to take a while to get here, but also just because not a lot of people know about it and their feeder setup is brand new. Now, I was here the other day and I saw 48 species just casually birding, not even that early in the morning. 48 species in the month of December is pretty dang good, I'm not going to lie. So you should definitely come check out Mojave Narrows Regional Park. Now, one downside is that there is a $10 fee to enter the park. If you're local though, you can buy a pass for $80, I think, for the year. And that just excludes like holidays, but it's definitely worth it. Every time I come here, I'm super excited. The birds at the feeder are awesome. And then there's all these walking trails that go on for a couple miles or so where you can find some really awesome species. But we're here today. I'm heading back over here into this grove of trees that I didn't go into last time, where a yellow-bellied sapsucker was seen, and that would be a lifer for me. So let's see if we can find it. I'm currently where it was spotted. Actually, the other day when I was here, I just didn't know it until I got home. And these trees are thick. Really hard to see what's up there. The other thing is it's nearly identical to the red-naped sapsucker. It's a lazy woodpecker. At least that's what Sibley says about it. It's not as active as the other woodpeckers. It kind of just like sits in one spot and just taps quietly. The other woodpeckers, you'd be able to track them because they're gonna fly tree to tree. This one just stays still, so it's kind of like finding a needle in a haystack. This is a tall order. Let's see if we can find this bird. This hunt is proving to be a lot more difficult than I thought it was going to be. Did get a woodpecker species. I was following some tapping. It was a Nuttall's woodpecker, which is probably the most abundant one here. Most definitely the most abundant species of woodpecker here. So we did get a woodpecker, but like I mentioned before, these yellow-bellied sapsuckers are lazier. They don't move around a lot. They just kind of quietly tap, so we'll have to get lucky. So that might be a miss for the day. I'm not saying I'm giving up yet, but it would be cool to find that bird, of course. I'm gonna head back over to the feeder setup, check on the fam, see how they're doing, filling up everything, and then keep you updated. Hold up, just picked up a vermilion flycatcher. That's awesome. I love those birds, and I've been looking for one for the last 2 times I've been here. We can get them like in southern Utah. I've seen one as far north as Utah County, but they're pretty hard to find in southern Utah, and they're very rare that far north in Utah County. So they do frequent this park regularly, like this is where they live. And I finally picked one up just on the tree over here. Absolutely amazing. That's a highlight bird for the day, obviously. So cool.
Back at the feeders, I admired the Anna's hummingbirds one more time. A resource often neglected at feeder setups is water, but water attracts the birds just as much as the seed does. I said goodbye to the white-breasted nuthatch as I wrapped up my California journey. Thanks for sticking with me on that long adventure. I hope you guys have an amazing holiday season, and stay tuned because we have some exciting first of the year videos coming out just in a couple weeks, and our yearly recap video coming out next week. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. I hope to see you all next time on Bright-Eyed Birding.